All right, we are starting with section 1.1. As you can see from your book, it has the section right here and the title right here. I would prefer on your homework that you always list the section title, not the page number because it's harder to find, harder for me to grade that way. So let's go ahead and get started. It says 1 through 7. Below are some types of figures you have seen in earlier mathematics courses. Describe each figure using your own words. If you can recall the mathematical terms that identify the figures, you can use those in your description. So pause the video, go through and identify each figure in your own words. You don't need complete sentences, you just need to describe what this looks like in your own words. Okay, instead of going over all of the answers, let's hop to the next page. We might come back to this one. On the next page, you're going to see the actual way that you're supposed to name everything, because almost every student in the United States takes geometry. And if one teacher describes this as a line segment, and another teacher uses different vocabulary, and another teacher in another state uses different vocabulary, that's not going to work well after high school. So there have been a set of rules that we've come up with so that every teacher teaches it the same way using the same vocabulary. So that's what you're going to see on this page, the correct vocabulary and what we need to use going forward. You don't need to go back and correct anything on the other page. We just kind of wanted you to brainstorm and see if you got any right. So if you're going to name a point, you have to use a capital letter. Just a rule, you have to use a capital letter. If you are describing a line, you have to pick any 2 points, so any 2 capital letters in any order with a symbol line drawn above it. So if I have this line here, you can call it line AB. This is an arrow, BA. If I have this line, I still can only pick 2 letters. So I could call this line AB. I could call it line AC, line BD. I could pick any 2 points, but I have to pick 2 points. Now you'll notice it says or named using the lowercase letter. So this lowercase letter is not a point. You could just call it line M, or in my case, line L. So if you're going to pick points, it has to be 2 points, or the one lowercase letter that is not a point. If you're going to do a line segment, you have to pick 2 end points. So if I have A, B, C, D, E, up here in a line, I can pick any 2 points I want, any order I want. If it's a line segment, I have to pick the 2 end points. So the ends are A and E, so I have to do AE. I could also call it EA with the line segment bar above it, but I can't pick any points I want, must be the end points. For array is named using the end point and another point with the array symbol above it. The endpoint is always first. So you can see this is MN. M is first going through N. If I have this, I must pick the end point, and then I can pick any other point I want. So I could pick AB, I could pick AC, or AD. I have to pick A and one other point because I have to pick 2 points. For a plane is named using any 3 points on the plane that are not in the same line, which rarely happens. So if I have this plane, let's say I want to put more on here, I can call this plane. Now I need to pick 3 letters, any 3 I want. FAB, plane, FCH. Those are all 3 points. Any 3. You cannot put plane FCHAB. You can only pick 3. Just like a line, you can only pick 2. Now, maybe I shouldn't have said any points you want because Q, notice, is not a point. So I could not have put Q in here. Only 3 points. Or named using the capital cursive letter. So I could also call it plain Q. Just 1 point because, or sorry, just 1 letter because it's not a point. Kind of like up here in the line, we had to pick 2 points. In a plain, we have to pick 3 points. But there's also the case where you can just pick the 1 letter that's next to it. In a line, it's lowercase. In a plain, it's capital and cursive. So those are rules we need to follow going forward. If you want to go back and check, you can, but you don't need to fix those. Okay, so now you can practice number 8, identify each geometric figure, then give all possible names. So go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. Here are the answers. This is a segment, so we have to use 2 letters. It must be the end points, which is why they're capital letters. This could also be, instead of writing the word segment, you can also put QP with the segment bar above it. Could be listed in the other order, PQ. Letter B is a line, so I can pick any 2 letters, or if I don't want to put the word line, I can put the symbol line above it. I could also do it in the other order. Letter C, I have to pick 3 points, so we can call it plain BTG. I could do BGT. I could list a bunch of different orders as long as I pick 3 points, or plain, I'm sorry, got a little sloppy there. Plain M, the 1 capital cursive letter. D is simply just point D. Okay. 9, draw ray FE. Explain where points F and E lie on the ray. Well, notice it starts at F and goes through E. So if I explain where point F is, I would call that the end point. And E is anywhere on the ray. That is how I would describe it. Number 10. Caleb says the figure below can be named KJ. Jen says the figure can be named JL. Who is correct? Explain. Now, anytime it says explain, you are going to have to write a sentence on your homework. In notes, you don't have to because I don't grade it, but in homework, you have to give a sentence anytime it says explain, or I'm going to treat it like you skipped that question. So who is correct here for number 10? Well, this is a line. A line must have 2 points, any points you want. So our K and J on the line, yep, that's all right. Our J and L on the line, yep, that's all right too. So they're actually both correct. And to explain that, you would say something like, it is a line, so they must pick 2 points and use capital letters, which they both did. Okay, 11. Is SR a possible name for the figure at the right? Explain. Does it start at S and go through R? Does it start at S and go through R? No, it doesn't. So that is not an okay name. So you would say, no, it starts at R and goes through S. Now, you wouldn't just write this, you would explain it. So pause the video and explain it. 12. Graham draws a point. Describe how he could label and name the point. Well, any 1 capital letter is fine. That's it. All right, go ahead and close your book. I want to talk about another figure. What is this? Point, ray, plane? None of them. This is called an angle. The rules for naming an angle is you have to pick 3 letters. The vertex must be the middle letter. So I can call this angle ABC. You might see it written as angle ABC. That's just the angle symbol. It's just short, so you don't have to write the word angle every time. Let's say I have this. Well, I still must use 3 letters. The vertex must be the middle one. Now I have to pick 1 point on this ray. So I can pick either A or D. And then 1 point on this ray, either E or C, it doesn't matter. You can only pick 3. You cannot call it angle A, D, B, E, C. That's incorrect. Must use 3 letters. Vertex must be the middle one. Okay, so your book walks you through that. I just had you shut your book because I find it a little more confusing. But this whole thing right here explains what I just said. One thing I forgot to mention was at times you will see somebody label this as just angle B. Now, I told you I had to use 3 letters. Why can they just use 1? Well, because there's really only one angle B here. So if I said color in angle B, you would know it's this angle right here. So you can just use 1 letter. But if I had this, and I said find angle B, you wouldn't know if I'm talking about this angle or this one or this one or this one. So that's why we say to use 3 letters. But in the case if it's very clear that there is only one, you sometimes can just use the 1 vertex. So we can skip through this because I just went over all that. You can read it again if you need to on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and try to name all of these. Okay, so for A, give all possible names. That's going to be angle XYZ or angle ZYX. You can call it angle 3 or angle Y. Again, you can use 1 if it's very clear there's only one angle there. Letter B, angle SCN. The vertex has to be in the middle. Angle SCF. Or you could go the other direction first. You could start with F, then C, then S, or NCS. So there's 4 different ways to name this angle. Technically, angle C would work also. The only time it wouldn't work is if you had a picture like this. There's a lot of angle C's here, so you would have to pick 3 letters. Okay, there's some extra practice here, but I'm going to go ahead and assign the homework. So there we go.